Hello once again, this is Uncle Jimmy with Jimmy's Train Station and Travel Adventures, and today I am going to do a couple videos I'm going to put out this week. First one, they're both quite different. I mean, they're out of the norm of what I usually do. I wanted to share my hobbies with you this week and things I enjoy and like to do. So first of all, our first video is going to be soap making. Me and my wife both, we haven't bought soap in over 2 years now, I believe. We make our own soap, and it's a lot cheaper. In the long run, it's better because you can pick your own scents, and cheaper that way, and you get more for your money. So what I do is I have bought containers over the years and built up and supplies. So once you get all your supplies bought and everything like that, then it's always cheap to do. I'll go to like Michael's and I'll use their 50% or 40% off coupon. Now the kind of soap making I do is the base is already made. So all you got to do is cut it up into cubes and melt it. And I usually just melt it in the microwave. And then you add your color. And you add your scent, which I use different oils. And once you got it, mixed and ready to pour, you pour it into molds. Now there's different kind of molds you can use. I have bought regular soap molds where you just cut it into squares, and then I've got all kinds of silicone molds of different kinds, and I've bought all kinds of scents and fragrances, and I've even got different colored mica to use to color the soap if I like. So yeah, it's a hobby of mine. It's easy to do. It don't take that long. After you pour your soap into your molds, I put them in the freezer. You can either let them sit out overnight and harden, or you can put it in the freezer and make it harden quicker, and your soap's done quicker. That's what I prefer to do. But as you can see, we do have quite the supply left, not a lot, and don't mind the mess. This is like our crafts room, and this is where my kids do their crafts, and this is where I do my model railroading, building models, which I don't do much anymore. I think I'm going to get out of that and sell them, because I really just don't have the space to actually build a layout, but I enjoy making the buildings. I've thought about going into business, a little self-business making models, but people just don't want to pay with the economy. They don't want to pay for your work, and they only want to give you what you got in it, but you usually have more than what you got in it. So I kind of got out of that. But today, yeah, we're doing soap making. I'm gonna get it all together, all my supplies. I'm going to show you the steps I do and how we make our own soap. So this is one of my hobbies, like I said, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're watching this, please subscribe to my channel, give it a thumbs up. Feel free to leave comments, suggestions of other things you'd like to see in the future, and I'll try to get to that. In the meanwhile, just sit back and enjoy soap making with me today as I show you the steps and procedures I go by to make my own soap. Join me. So folks, I've got all my supplies here for our soap making. I'm going to show you what we got here and all the supplies we need. So spilled a little alcohol, rubbing alcohol there. I got a leak here for some reason. Let's close that off a minute. It's alright, it'll evaporate. But I'm going to show you the supplies we have here. We have, I decided to go with this, get a towel real quick because I'm dripping rubbing alcohol here, and I'm not sure why it's leaking. Okay, I'm sorry about that, but here's the supplies we got. You have your cutting board, of course. We use this to put our soap on and cut. This is a microwavable measuring dish. Now I'm gonna cut 2 to 4 pounds of soap to melt, and I'm not sure exactly what I'm gonna need yet for this mold, but you can always reheat it in the microwave if it gets hard, so that's never a problem. Here we have our actual soap base. Now this one is double glycerin soap. There's different kinds of soaps you can use. This costs around $22. We used to sell soap, but it's so hard to make it into a business because everybody does it that we just kind of gave up on it. But this is 5 pounds of soap here, so I'll probably use at least half of it today. And also we have our rubbing alcohol here. Now the only reason we use that is we just spray the molds a little bit to keep air bubbles out of the soap. That's what you use that for. Then we have our 2 rubber spatulas you can buy really cheap. We use that to mix all the ingredients. And they got different cutters here. I think I got this one for like $5 to cut your soap with when it's done. A little scale, and it has different measurement units on it. Turn it on here. It's got pounds. Let's see what else here. It's got kilograms, milliliters, different measurements, grams, and I always use ounces, so I use pounds. And this is the silicone we're going with. It's Pirates. So I'm gonna make a manly scent soap for myself today and my son. And I like experimenting a little bit. This is a manly fragrance here called Warm Rustic Woods. I'm gonna be using that scent. And this is Ocean Breeze. It's got a nice fresh scent to it. So I'm gonna experiment a little bit, and I'm gonna mix it. I'm gonna use mostly the Warm Rustic Woods, but I'm gonna put a little bit, about half Ocean Breeze and a full ounce of this, probably an ounce of Warm Rustic Woods. You usually want to use an ounce to get a good scent in your soap, and probably a half an ounce of Ocean Breeze. And one with color. This is mica you can buy, and it's gold. So since we're doing pirates, I figured we'd do it like gold color, just to make it interesting. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut my soap into little square cubes, you know, no bigger than this, like little small ice cubes, so it melts easier. I'm gonna cut it till I have 2 pounds, 2 or 3 pounds, it doesn't matter with this type. Now if I'm using the square molds or 2 pound molds I have, then you'd use 2 pounds of soap. But since I'm using the silicone molds here, and there's 2 of them, I might make 4 pounds, but we'll do 2 pounds at a time, 1 mold at a time. But I'm going to show you how it's done. So in the meantime, I'm going to open the soap, get my soap cut, measured to 2 pounds or 4 pounds or whatever I'm going to use. I'm going to put it into this bowl. If I can fit 4 pounds in here, then that's what I'm going to do. If I can only fit 2 pounds, then we'll go with 2 at a time. So sit back and enjoy this video, and I'll be right back. Just to show you real quick what I'm doing, I've cut the soap block in half, and this is about 2.5 pounds of it. So what I'm doing now is I'm just simply taking this and working my way through it and cutting it into cubes. I'm trying to do this with one hand, but I'm kind of just showing you what I'm doing here. So what we got is these little cubes, and then I'll cut them in half again. So you get this size here. And the soap does tend to stick to the cutting knife. Then you just simply cut these into smaller pieces so it'll melt easier. That's basically all I'm doing. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut this up and put it into the measuring cup. I already know how much I got here, so I won't have to measure. You can do it two ways. You can measure the actual soap block onto the scale, or you can put your soap blocks in here and measure this. But if you do that, you want to measure your or weigh your mixing glass first and then zero it out. So when you do put the soap in, it'll equal what weight you want. So there's two ways of doing it. I did it the easy way. I measured it out. I know I got basically 2.4 pounds of soap here, and there's probably 2.6 pounds over there left. So follow me as we continue. So we're getting everything ready, prepared. I've got my soap cut up. Now this is actually 2 pounds is what it holds, so I don't want to put more in that because I got to add my color and my scent also. So we got the molds out over here on the stove. We're just sprinkling a little bit of rubbing alcohol, like sprinkling it, kind of like, just to keep air bubbles from coming out and shake off the excess. Is all we're doing. And these are silicone molds. So that was where our soap is going to be poured into. All this extra alcohol is fine. It's not going to hurt anything. You can just take a towel and kind of dab it a little bit off the top of the silicone. And if you get too much alcohol, you can just simply dab it a little. And that's basically it. So you've got your molds ready. One thing I want to do is make sure I have room here in my freezer. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put some of this down here for now. I'll just make a spot to put the mold up here on top so to get finished quicker. Let's see, I'm gonna have to rearrange this. Rearrange a little bit here so the lid or the door will close. That'll work. So what you want to do is you want to start melting your soap in the microwave, and I go in 2 minutes increments at a time, because you don't want to burn your soap, but you do got to get it to melt. So put it in the microwave. This is the easiest way to make soap. You can make it from scratch and have to add lye, but lye is dangerous to work with if you do decide to do it this way. This way the base already has lye in it, so you don't have to worry about that, because lye can burn the skin. And if you're using lye, please use goggles and gloves. But with this, you don't have to. So we'll start out at 2 minutes and we'll start melting the soap. And it takes anywhere from 4 to 6 minutes to fully melt it. You want it melted enough where it's hot, but not like boiling or anything like that. You just want to simply melt it where you can pour it into the mold. And I'll show you the consistency once we get it melted. So once it's melted, all we got to do is simply add our scent and our color, stir it up, and then pour it into the mold. Once it's poured into the mold, it goes into the freezer for about an hour until it's hardened, and then you take it out of the mold and you have your soap. And I do have little plastic containers downstairs, which in between them we'll go grab one to store the soap in. So we'll get our soap melted and I'll show you the next step. So we've melted the soap. It still has a little bit of chunks in it, not much, but stir it. Now when you're doing this, please be careful because the soap can be rather hot. So I have a wash rag here to grab the measuring cup if it gets too warm. So we're simply just stirring the soap to make sure all the chunks are out. It pretty much is. I've had it in basically 3 times now, a total of 6 minutes. But I'm actually going to put it in for 2 more minutes to make sure it's warm enough, because it's just warm. It isn't hot. You don't, like I said, you don't want it boiling, but you do want it warm enough to where it mixes well. So we're going to see here. We're going to give it a couple minutes here. And also I wanted to mention while we're waiting, with these silicone molds here, this is going to make, I'm hoping I can get 12 pounds or 12 bars out of this, because there is 6 bars in each mold. So if not, I'll have to melt some more, cut up some more, melt it, mix it again, but we'll see what we got. But for size like this, I'm trying to show you my thumb, it's about thumb deep. With these 12, and like I said, I got the soap for $22. I probably got, with all the ingredients, maybe $25 in all to make. Well, I still got soap left, so this is only half of that. So for $26, you can make probably 24 of these soaps, which will last you approximately 4 months. So you figure the math. Is it cheaper to buy bar soap in the grocery store? Now this is based on one person using these bars. 4 months. You do the math. Like I said, you get 24 bars out of it. Now, is it cheaper to buy soap in the store or to make your own? And it only takes a few minutes. It's not that long to do. And besides that, you get to pick your own scents and colors. So that's what's nice about it. So our soap is done, and you can see it's like starting to boil a little. Just see how it's barely boiling. That's what you want. You don't want it boiling a whole lot. So we'll give it a little stir here. Let it cool down a little bit before we pour it. You don't want it bubbling when you're pouring it, but you want it this hot as you're mixing it. That's the whole idea. So right there, you can see the consistency. It's just like milk. So that's consistency you want. Now we're going to start by using the warm rustic wood. You put your scent in first. Sometimes it's easier, instead of using drops like this, to take the plastic off, which you can. But I just like putting it in 20-30 drops. I like my soap to have a scent to it. I want it to smell good. And like I said, I usually use an ounce, and that's about what I got left in this. But just use your own judgment of how much of the scent you want in there. I like mine strong, so I'm going to just mix that a little. You want to go down and actually smell it, and it's really still smelling like soap, so just keep adding your scent. So I'm going to take this top off and make it easier and pour some in, and then I'm going to use some of that and mix it, and we're going to experiment and see what we got. So I went ahead and popped the plastic tops off to make it easier to pour. You got to be more careful this way because it will come out a lot quicker, as you can see. Let's mix that up a little. I'm starting to smell a little bit there. It's getting stronger. But since we have a hint of that, this stuff here smells really good. It's real fresh scent. And we'll mix that, see what kind of You just experiment is all you're doing, and that smells pretty good. But I do want it to smell more rustic. It's not the actual smell I'm looking for, so I'm going to pour more of this Ocean Breeze in. Like I said, I like mine to smell really scented. That don't smell too bad. I think we just need a little bit more Ocean Breeze. So, you know, you are using quite a bit of scent when you do this, but I'm just going to go ahead and finish that bottle off. You will get a little mess from the soap, but it's not too bad to clean up. It's just soap. You can take a wet rag basically and clean up. And that smells pretty good. We're going to leave it at that. So after you do that, and then you can add your color, your mica here, and I've already got it open. It's a powder form, and it doesn't take a whole lot, but depends on how much color you want. We'll start with that amount. We'll mix it up here, see what we got. Like I said, we're doing pirate theme, so we're gonna go with the gold color, which this is more of a caramel color, so we're gonna add more. We'll just go ahead and use this whole bag here. It's probably what it's going to take anyway. It takes a little while to mix it up. So that's more of a gold color there. That's what we're looking for. There we go. That's got a little color to it and shininess like gold. So once we get all that mixed up, pretty much what's still the consistency we want. We got the amount of fragrance we want in there, and we have the consistency and the color with the shimmer. We'll shake the excess off, and now it's time to actually take it over and pour into the molds. And this is a little, if you get a little on top of your molds, it's okay. I like pouring it almost to the crest. Not quite, but almost. So you just take your time doing this. There we go. And just wait till the dripping's done, then you start the next. See how just got a little bit on the mold, but that's okay. We can wipe the excess off, or even just leave it and clean it when it's done. A little bit more there. Add a little bit more. It looks like we're only going to get the 6 bars out of this batch, but that's okay. If we want to make more, we can. If not, that's also fine. I went over a little bit. It's not going to hurt anything. We'll just wipe the excess off if we have to. Might have enough to make one more here. Just a little less than what we need, but that's fine. So we got 7 bars out of this, but it's not that bad. Like I said, we're not going to worry about the excess. We'll go ahead and get some of it off, because it is going to spill a little if we don't. And we're not worried about it too much, because like I said, it's just soap. It'll clean up with a wet rag. So we're gonna open the freezer here. I'm gonna put our molds inside here for an hour. We're gonna let it harden, and then we'll be back and I'll show you the rest. So follow me on this adventure. Well, folks, we're getting ready to take the soap out of the mold, and we're finished with it. But it was, I made a big mistake. I wasn't thinking. I haven't done this for a long time. So what you need to do before you pour it, actually pour it into the silicone, if you're going to do, even if you're going to leave it sit on the counter and dry that way, you need to put like a pizza pan or something under the silicone. So if you have to move it, it's not going to splatter everywhere. I made the mistake of forgetting to do that. It's no big deal, because I'm not trying to sell this soap. I'm using it for myself. I just wanted to show you basically the process of how to make it. But as you can see, I kind of made a mess of it. But it don't matter. I'm using it myself. And when I take it out of the molds, it's still going to look pretty good. So all you do when taking it out of the mold, you just push it out with your thumbs. You turn it upside down. So let me get this soap out of the mold, and I'll show you what we have. So even with that said, it still turned out good. As you can see, we have the gold collar, and turned out really good, and we'll use these for ourselves. And they smell really good. Nice fresh scent. So there you go. That's my little tutorial of how to make homemade soap. It's really easy. It's the easiest process. Like I said, there is a harder process they call the cold process, where you actually mix all of it yourself. But I wanted to show you how to do that, and that's one of my hobbies. I don't do it that often. I only make it when we need it. I try to stay ahead of the game and have extra of. So I hope you enjoyed that little video here, blog of how to make your own homemade soap. And like I said, if you're watching this, this has been Uncle Jimmy once again with Jimmy's Train Station and Travel Adventures. Please subscribe to my channel, give it a thumbs up. Feel free to leave comments, suggestions of other things you'd like to see in the future. Till then, go out and have your own adventures, have your own hobbies, and enjoy life. And till next time, this has been Uncle Jimmy, Jimmy's Train Station Travel Adventures. Till next time, goodbye.